Welcome back to Cape Town, and of course it is the preview to the State of the Nation address. The address expected this evening at around about 7 o'clock, but it doesn't all start at 7. There's so much in the run-up to the State of the Nation address. It really is where you see everybody come out in their best dresses and their tailor-made suits, and of course they come out to hear what the President has to say to the people of South Africa, to set the foundation for the year ahead and to find some solutions to the problems that South Africa are going through. Now, having spoken to many of the political parties that are represented in Parliament, they have a lot of hopes for what the President is going to address today, and I think one of the biggest ones is addressing unemployment and how we are going to try and help South Africans at a time like this. It's a very difficult time, not only in South Africa but around the world as well, where we see economies really under pressure, and South Africa is not immune to this. You've seen what's happened to our currency, you've seen what's happened to the mining sector, and a lot of job losses are experienced due to this. So these are some of the issues that are hoping that South Africans are hoping that the President will talk about. But today I just want to reminisce a little bit with you, and I've seen that everybody's talking about it on Twitter and everybody's looking back on this day in history. Can you believe it? Today, 1990, it was on this day, on the 11th of February, that our former President Nelson Mandela was released from Victor Verster prison. He walked out a free man on this day, and it's quite a big day and a significant day when you look 26 years later, and here we stand in a democratic South Africa. We may have our problems, but one thing I can tell you is that we certainly are a free country, and a country that does not have to go through the oppression that we once did in those years when we look back to when Madiba was in jail. So that's this day in history. So also forming a very significant part of this date, despite the fact that there's the State of the Nation. Well, somebody that's got a very, very major role this evening is my next guest who I'm going to be talking to. And this, of course, is the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, and that is Ms. Thandi Modise. So good to see you, and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Lee, and good morning to the listeners.
It's incredible to reminisce on a day like this. I mean, both you and I having a look at a photograph of Madiba walking out on that day, and here we stand 26 years later. Who would have thought?
I think every time we think of Madiba, we must think of the goodness he wanted us to continue to give out, look after the people, look after the infirm, love the children. And I think that Parliament must do that continuously in memory of Madiba.
Indeed. And today, hopefully tonight, a little bit of remembrance will be given to Madiba on this special day. So the opening of Parliament is delivered at a joint sitting of Parliament at the beginning of any annual session. So we've got both houses sitting together once a year. It's a big evening, and it's a big night for South Africa. I mean, tell us the significance of it all.
It brings together all three arms of state. It brings the biggest contingent of the diplomats you can ever count. Over 90 of them are usually at the State of the Nation. It brings together the biggest contingents at any time of the media, but it also opens up not only to South Africans, because thanks to the last few years, the continent watches us. So the State of the Nation address is important because it enables the President to look at the year that was, to commit to the financial year we are just about to get into, to set up standards, to adjust whatever. Significantly this year, it is the State of the Nation in a very, very bad economic cycle. And so we are hoping that the things that matter to South Africans, the President will touch. Things that will make and ease a little bit of the different sectors of our people, that the President will touch it.
So your role this evening, as you sit next to the Madam Speaker, what is it? How is it that you integrate with each other?
Well, the Speaker and I are the co-hosts of the State of the Nation address and any other joint sitting. We will hope to conduct the House, to enable the President to deliver the State of the Nation. That is our role, just to make sure that we run the business of today and it is done to its conclusion.
Which is what a lot of South Africans do want. And I do know there have been threats of disruptions, but at the end of the day, we need to hear what the President has to say.
We need to hear what the president has to say, because he will be giving the nation what he and his executive have been thinking about the problems of the people. People need to know that government is considering their plight. We have rules which we hopefully all members in the joint sitting will remember to adhere to. It is very difficult for a presiding officer to always bring up the rules. We want respect to our people. We want respect to the viewers, even outside our borders, who take and who follow what we are doing. But importantly, the men and the women in the streets needs to know what we intend to do as South Africa for themselves today.
Certainly, because, I mean, you have obviously this evening, which is the State of the Nation, and it's the moment for the President to address. But thereafter, there are question and answer sessions.
Yes, there are 2 days of question. Thereafter, there are 2 days of debates. And members can debate, members can pose questions during those 2 days. The President then comes back to respond to what was raised in his address. Thereafter, there are sessions for questions for both the President and the Deputy President and for the individual ministers. So members have ample opportunity to take up any of the issues they want to take up after the State of the Nation address.
Let's just focus a little bit on the theme for this evening, because it's quite an interesting one. Following up on our commitments to the people. What are we looking at here?
I think government needs to go back to the commitments to deliver quality health, education, access to housing, getting rid of crime amongst our people. All our communities are crying against crime. We committed to help create jobs. I hope the President will talk to that. Last year, the main issue in the State of the Nation, if you remember, was the energy crisis. That was a commitment which people are ready to hear to. We need to hear how the state uses the public resources to ease the plight of the people.
This evening we're going to see, we do know that the dinner has been cancelled afterwards, and that the budget has been cut quite significantly, obviously reflecting the sign of the times. The House itself, the overflow guests also not invited this year.
No, they are invited.
They are.
They are invited, but remember that other people also do call us to invite themselves. So there are people who come in. Provinces send eminent people. We also have people and school children who go through competition and to win the time to come here. So we will have the usual numbers. Yes.
Usual numbers inside the House. What do you do personally on a day like this? Because, I mean, it's a big moment for you, and it's an important job that both you and Madam Speaker have tonight.
We have to focus, because we have to, when you chair, you have to hear every speech and at the same time be alert to every other member in the House. So we are usually on edge, but we are at the same time excited, because we also come from constituencies which are poor. We come from women who are crying out for equality. We come from people with disabilities, and we are hoping that the President does have something to say about disability in South Africa this year. So we are excited at the same time.
Nervous and excited. I was telling your people that are following you around, I said, please send her for a massage today. Let her relax.
I went for acupuncture over the weekend. But I'm well prepared.
You're well prepared.
Relaxed.
Okay. I'm happy to hear that. Acupuncture ready for action. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you, Leanne.
That speaking to us here on the program, of course, is the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, this evening co-chairing the opening of Parliament with Madam Speaker Baleka Mbete. And it's a big job that both of these ladies have got on their plates this evening. And as you heard, on her personal wants and needs from the President, hoping that he will certainly address some of the issues around women in South Africa and the equality of women, and also those of, I beg your pardon, of those that are disabled. Well, we're going to try and find some